Dillian Whyte says he fully expects Tyson Fury to run like a coward, just like Deontay Wilder did before him. And that's obviously running from Dillian. This is what Dillian is saying. Now, I personally don't think that Tyson Fury is afraid of Dillian Whyte. I think that Tyson Fury is a businessman and he's somebody that wants to, yes, fight the best, but do it in an order that makes most sense. And what makes most sense for Tyson Fury right now is obviously to, take care of his obligation in the Deontay Wilder rubber match and then fight Anthony Joshua. That makes the most sense to Tyson Fury financially and in terms of risks, because make no mistake about it, Tyson Fury is a very good fighter and he's a brave man, but he is a practical man. Even early on in Tyson Fury's career, he was choosing his battles carefully. And he took on tough opponents. Don't get it twisted on the way up. But he took on certain people at certain times and avoided other fights at certain times because, I guess, during his risk assessment process, that fight didn't make sense at a certain point in his career. So one of the examples I could give you is David Price. Tyson Fury was supposed to fight David Price. That was it mandatory for the British title? And he chose to go in a different direction. Now, he'd been in the ring with David Price before when he was an amateur, when they were obviously both amateurs. So I don't think he was scared of Pricey. Okay. I think that, yeah, he understood at the time Pricey was dangerous. He was on the ascendancy. He was unbeaten. He could punch. And he felt like, you know what? I don't need this type of risk against this level opponent right now. I'm trying to move on and get my ranking up. He went on to fight Martin Rogan and a couple other people who weren't as good as Pricey. But ultimately, it was a business move. Okay? Maybe he wasn't as confident then as he was. Well, I'm sure he wasn't as confident then as he was several years later. But I'm still not going to say he was scared of Pricey, right? Push came to shove. If Pricey had, let's say, a world ranking or whatever that Fury needed at the time, then he probably would have taken it. That's my opinion. Same is the case here with Dillian Whyte. I just don't think that Dillian Whyte has anything that Tyson Fury needs, and it is his mandatory, okay? But he's doing a risk assessment, and he's thinking, yeah, Dillian is dangerous. He does remember them tough spars they had together in a couple different training camps. If I'm going to take a risk like this, what's my reward? Yeah, it's going to be a decent payday, I guess, but it's not going to be as good as the Anthony Joshua payday. So that's really where I want to go with it next. So, yeah, Dillian Whyte calling Tyson Fury a coward. I mean, Tyson Fury got in the ring against Vladimir Klitschko in Germany when Klitschko had been unbeaten 10 years. So that's not the actions of a coward, not just getting in the ring with Klitschko, but the way he fought and the way he won. That's not a cowardly individual. Same way when he fought Deontay Wilder the first time. It was a big risk. He wasn't in shape, Tyson Fury. He was weak from having lost all that weight. But he still went in there, did what he did, came out with a draw. That's not the actions of a coward. Now, he was supposed to fight Deontay Wilder in an immediate rematch. But he signed the ESPN deal and went in a different direction. Now, was he running from Wilder? At the time, people were saying that he did run from Wilder and he was scared of that smoke. Even Wilder thought that, right? Wilder was saying, oh, you scared of me. See, he didn't take the rematch because he's scared. He knows that next time he ain't going to get up. Tyson Fury wasn't scared, was he? We found that out from their second fight. There was no fear at all in Tyson Fury's heart with regards to Deontay Wilder. It was just a strategic move based on, a risk assessment where he thought, you know what? Yeah, I could fight Wilder now, but let me milk this ESPN contract for a couple fights, build up the hype for the rematch of Deontay Wilder, and then go in there and take care of business. And to be honest with you, it worked out best for him because he did exactly what I just described. He went and earned some money fighting the likes of Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, got big paychecks off ESPN and Bob Arum. Deontay Wilder fought Luis Ortiz in that period as well. In fact, did he fight? I forget the sequence in which Wilder fought, but I think he fought just he fought Dominic Brazil, didn't he? He fought Dominic Brazil, then he fought Luis Ortiz, then he fought Tyson Fury again. Yeah, he went in that order, I believe. But anyway, the fight between Fury and Wilder, the second fight, was built up a lot more because of what happened between the two fights. So Fury made the right decision doing what he did. That's long story short. So with Dillian Whyte, yeah, I know Dillian is frustrated. And as a fighter and a rival of Tyson Fury, he can call him whatever he wants to call him. If he wants to call him a coward and all that kind of stuff, that's Dillian's prerogative. At the end of the day, he's willing to get in the ring with the men he calls cowards. Okay, so I ain't got no issue with him saying what he wants to say. But I'm just speaking from an objective point of view. Is Tyson Fury really a coward? No, he's not a coward. Is he somebody who, bends the truth and flat out tells a lot of lies? Yes, he is. That doesn't necessarily make him a coward. He's a businessman. He makes calculated risks. He weighs up risk reward and he puts the fights in order of, that criteria, which is going to give me the biggest reward for the risk. And therefore, that's why he's looking at it right now. At the moment, he's looking at AJ. Before, he was looking at Wilder because I guess he felt Wilder was not as big a risk as AJ at one time, but still a substantial reward. Whereas now he's looking at Wilder and thinking there's not going to be the kind of reward fighting Deontay Wilder that there was before. He's obligated, obviously, contractually to fight Wilder for a third time. If Tyson Fury had the choice, I'm sure he'd prefer to just jump straight into the AJ fight. But, it is what it is with Deontay Wilder. He's exercised that rematch clause and we'll have to see where that goes. Anyway, long story short, that's how I feel about Dillian Whyte's comments on Tyson Fury. I can understand Dillian Whyte's frustration. I can understand when he talks about Tyson Fury said he would fight Dillian for the WBC diamond belt. And then when the WBC said, yeah, you guys can fight for that belt, Fury decided, no, I'm not going to. And Fury also said that when he becomes world champion again, he'll give Dillian Whyte a shot at the WBC because he deserves it. Then he's kind of gone back on that. Yeah, Tyson Fury's not a man of his word. I'll give Dillian Whyte that. Okay. But a coward, scared? No, I don't buy that. Tyson Fury is many, many things, but he's not a coward. Yeah. In fact, he may well be the bravest of the top heavyweights out there. And when I say top heavyweights, I mean really the Wilder, Fury, Joshua. He might be the bravest of those three. If you want to include Dillian Whyte in it, I mean, Dillian Whyte is very brave himself. But in terms of the consensus top three, and actually the Ring Magazine have now got Dillian Whyte ahead of Deontay Wilder. And I think that's fair. But for those of you who don't want to put Dillian Whyte in the top three, then if you still are talking about Fury, Joshua, and Wilder, Fury might be the bravest of those guys. Okay. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all the points I've raised in this video. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.